Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to read an article titled, Why Single Women Are Embracing Roster Dating. And a shout out to Elias for sending me this article. And guys, this article comes from, I know you're going to want to barf when you hear this, but Vogue. You heard that right? Vogue. Pretty much encouraging women to have what they call roster dating, a new stupid term here. Where instead of just traditional dating where women are, seeing different dudes to find out who's good for them and the idea that achieving a long-term relationship, something meaningful, this is simply just having a long list of guys that they can use. One guy could be the guy that takes them out to fancy restaurants and stuff like that, who they pretend to be interested in but only use to get free meals, and that guy can get anything in return, and she can milk him as long as she can until he figures out this isn't going anywhere. Or the guy she can have as her plus one to family events and stuff like that, who again likely isn't getting any, but she's just using, and amongst many other things. But then of course there's always the chatter Tyrone for hookups, and it's just ridiculous. And what I find so funny here is that it's one thing, like I said, this was meant to be dating to meet guys for something meaningful, but this is just to use guys. And Vogue here is trying to promote this of, hey, let's all have all the girls be players. And what's funny is if there was an article like this from a guy, having guys do the same thing with women, literally having an Excel spreadsheet of all the women and the things about them and qualities and all that and using them, we know darn well how well that would be taken. But when it's written for women, then hey, no big deal. But this is why I call it Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. But anyhow, that'll be a good one to go over here, not too long, showing you what's being promoted out there. And this backs up why a lot of you guys are no longer in the scene on your own, bachelors, not interested in dating and all that, because this is the shit. Still, you think after 5 years of being on here, maybe things have improved a little bit? Nope, they're still promoting the same stupid crap in these same stupid magazines. So listen for 10 minutes, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. So this ridiculous article starts off saying, have you started building your festive roster yet? Ideally, you'll want to have about 3 people circulating, 4 if you've got the time. One guy might be great for Friday nights, some overpriced cocktails here, a spontaneous quickie there. Another guy suits for Sundays when one of you pores over what takeout to order, when the other tackles Netflix. And if your time is right, the other guy is your perfect plus one, primed to tackle nosy family members at Christmas gatherings, one pre-approved dad joke at a time. So right there in the first paragraph, encouraging gals to have a whole roster, a whole, what are you going to call it? A circulation of dudes, if you will, a rotation. But if an article from a guy was encouraging this, gals would be losing their mind. The player, the pigs, ugh. She says here, in today's dating scene, the roster is no longer just an eccentric practice by the particularly horny and well-organized. It's a survival mechanism, one that has become integral in the run of the silly season when everyone who's single is more than ready to jingle. God, you can tell a chick wrote this. To be clear, I'm talking about dating multiple people at once. And yes, I'm aware this is hardly a revolutionary strategy. But it wasn't something I ever noticed my single friends doing, at least not so intentionally until recently. Now though, we're all drinking the roster Kool-Aid, and let me tell you, it's delicious. God, it's killing me to read this broad's writing here. But I'm doing this to show you the mindset out there. And again, this is from Vogue, okay? She says, I need to add an older man to my roster, a friend recently mused. Just like someone that knows where all the good restaurants are, but still has hair. That would be nice. Another newly single gal pal told me she's looking to recruit younger, or as she put it, a kinky little Gen Z freak that can show me all the kids are up to these days. One is in the market for an artist to equalize the corporate energy. She's a banker. Don't let the chatter like this fool you into thinking the roster is just about broadening your sexual palette or following some sort of Sex in the City wish fulfillment. Yeah, because that show was such a good influence on young women. There are legitimate benefits to dating this way, particularly if you're someone who has a tendency to fixate on anyone that shows even a slight amount of interest. The most jaded among us, for whom a simple compliment is practically a marriage proposal. So you're already saying, okay, have all these different guys for different things, but, use them. One guy to be your hookup guy, the chatter Tyrone. One guy to take you out to the restaurants, but he's not getting anything in return. One guy to be your plus one for family gatherings during the holidays, but he's not getting any. Use guys. The ones whose entire nervous system collapses every time they see the little chat bubble. People will spend the day after day writing sonnets in their notes app. It helps me maintain perspective and not feel too bound to anyone, says Layla, a 29-year-old female who's been a major advocate of roster dating since she broke up with her long-term partner 4 years ago. Online dating can make you feel weirdly committed to someone when realistically you just met them. When you date a few people at once, it can be a good reminder that there are plenty of fish in the sea and you don't have to doggedly pursue something that isn't working. Harriet, a 36-year-old female, agrees. It stops me getting so attached to one person and helps me remember I have plenty of options. Well, Harriet, you're 36 years old. You don't have as many options as you think. Your prime has gone bye-bye. I don't care how good looking you are. So I got no problem dating different people. But the problem is in this situation, the way it's this roster dating is let the girls make the guys think that they're important to them and lead them on and use them for different things. If a gal is dating multiple dudes to see who's good for her, but all the guys will get the equal treatment, like they go out, have a good time, and there's eventually hooking up, that's one thing. But specifically having a guy using a guy, letting him think you like him, to get him to take you out to dinner to those nice places, hence why I tell you coffee dates and inexpensive dates until you're sleeping together. So this is just encouraging women to use guys. And if a man wrote an article about guys encouraging him to use women, you know darn well people losing their minds. Anyway, personally, I've also found that having a roster helps to put the fun back into dating. You can enjoy getting to know new people, without putting pressure on yourself or them. There are caveats, of course. As much as I like to channel Samantha Jones, I'm not entirely sold on the idea of sleeping with multiple people at the same time. The fear of saying someone else's name in bed looms large. Yeah, I'm sure that's really your biggest fear. And Samantha Jones is not the person to be your role model, ladies. I also know there's a limit on how long I could feasibly date several people at the same time, logistically, conversationally, and emotionally. I need a spreadsheet just to keep track of which anecdotes I'd wheeled out on each date. It would help if I knew how to use Microsoft Excel. Lady, if you have that many dudes that you need Microsoft Excel to keep track of all the dudes, what you talked about, what they look like, where you went, all that, guess what? That's a bit much. And again, I got a problem dating, but when you're using the guys for different things and leading them on, that's a problem. I should point out that roster dating is generally not the same as practicing polyamory. All the people I've spoken to with rosters are monogamous and dating this way in the hope of ultimately finding a long-term partner, though with a more fluid, less traditional approach. It's not as counterproductive as it sounds. Dating multiple people offers a path to deepening one's relationship with oneself, explains Mariana Lazarus, a relationship coach and author. Oh, God. Relationship coach and author. This should be good. Instead of getting overly invested in one individual too soon, which can lead to emotional dependence and potential hurt, it creates a balanced perspective, viewing dating as a journey of self-discovery. A journey of self-discovery? It allows people to explore what they enjoy, what they value, and what they truly look for in a partner. It can build confidence too, which is crucial when you consider the proliferation of the callousness in modern dating. Ghosting and breadcrumbing are unavoidable guarantees. Does she really talk about callousness in modern dating? Are you fucking kidding me? Who is the most superficial? Who's the most callous? Women. But then again, one can argue guys allow them to be that way. We can go round and round that. That's why I try to help guys not become those types of guys. She says, seeing different people is like a masterclass in relationship skills, adds Marie Morris, a clinical sexologist. She says it requires emotional intelligence, the ability to read cues, set boundaries, keep an open and curious mind, and practice healthy communication. Of course, some people might be reaching for a roster for the wrong reasons. Because just as it can alleviate some of the anxieties we attach to romance, it can exacerbate others in more insidious ways. As she says here, I have a roster because everyone has a roster. But it's definitely not healthy, says Maya, a 31-year-old, who admits she probably dates this way to manage her own insecurities. I told you guys all women are insecure, and the better looking they are, the more insecure they are. And usually the more insecure ones need constant attention and validation from men, and that ain't a good place for any potential boyfriends. According to Maya, she says, I like knowing that if one guy isn't replying to me, I can just text another one. But if the men I met were better, I wouldn't need a roster at all and could put time and effort into one person. if the men were better. Well, is it possible that women aren't so good either? Ultimately, it's about your attitude in it all. If you find yourself reliant on multiple people to ensure that you're never alone or without someone to flirt with, then you're probably kidding yourself that roster dating is benefiting anything other than dealing with a love addiction. It can also be a great way at avoiding ever actually entering a relationship at all. The lack of commitment feels like a safer alternative to actually letting someone in. Lack of commitment, not letting someone in. What is this promoting? Think about it, guys. Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. Talking about Samantha Jones from Sex and the City. And again, this is from Vogue. This is the shit that women read, and this is what we have nowadays. She says, I think having a roster is the definition of being emotionally unavailable. Says, I can't pronounce this chick's name, who's 30. Notice all these chicks are around 30. If you ensure your eggs are multiple baskets, you can diversify the risk, so there's less chance of getting hurt. But how can you build anything real? It also gives you a false sense of security, because you feel like there's a lot of single people, but you're not getting close to any of them. You're actually just all alone. Well, that's the thing. If a gal's constantly out with different dudes all the time, not making, basically being, we all know it. Is that really making her feel better about herself? Probably not. The somewhat brutal outlook doesn't apply to everyone, of course. Perhaps the trick is to think about how you'd feel if the people you were dating had a roster of their own. Ding, ding, ding. If the thought conjures up feelings of jealousy, anger, and anxiety, then having a roster probably isn't for you. If it doesn't, go forth and multiply your dating pool, and maybe consider familiarizing yourself with Excel. So there you go. This is an example of how women keep women single. This is how women can have negative impact on other women. Articles like this. Again, I got no problem that if you're single and you're looking for somebody that's right for you and dating. But it's another thing if it's making out to be like this, where there's no real intent to build anything with anybody. It's just to simply, almost like for bragging rights. Like, well, I got my roster too, girlfriend. And, of course, using guys. Because that's what it boils down to, like in the first paragraph. And they try to be subtle about that, but that's what's going on here. There's the guy they definitely use they see for hookups, the Chatter Tyrone bad boy types. And there's the type of guy that they more than happy have pay for them for the fancy new restaurants, the expensive bills, but that guy ain't getting any. Yet that guy's being led on to keep buying for her. Or the guy they take along to family gatherings as a plus one, but probably isn't getting any either. All along, these guys think they may have a shot with these girls, but they're being led on. That I have a problem with. And again, we all know it. If a man was writing an article like this, having a roster of chicks, an Excel spreadsheet, that guy would be the hate on him, and those guys, through the roof. So I can't stand hypocrites. But anyhow, guys, there you go. Another stupid-ass term to throw into the dating scene, courtesy of Vogue. I wouldn't trust any of these magazine, Vogue, Cosmopolitan. It's been proven they're all completely full of shit and the damage they've caused out there. But for you guys to date and relationship, here's just another goddamn thing you can add to the list. And for you guys that don't, well, this is only backing up why you don't date. Anyway, I thought it'd be an entertaining one to go over here. Quick one, but a good one. Alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.